Hey, good afternoon. You're getting close. My name is Chris Kelly. I'm with Clearion Software. I'm going to talk a little bit about software for documentation and communication of topics and information I think is relevant to this group. Clearion is a vegetation work management software solution, among other things. We've been doing this for a while, serving utility, DOT, rail, and telecom industries. I usually am speaking to operations meetings or software meetings. This is really the first time I've ever talked to a group that is focused on and predominantly, people are representing environmental groups. So this is really cool for me. I'm impressed by the work you guys have going on and just how much energy is here. So what I want to talk about in the next few minutes is connecting maintenance operations information with sustainability, try to bridge the divide that I think sometimes exists between the folks that are doing maintenance work in utilities and the folks that are trying to promote sustainability initiatives. I don't think they're necessarily in conflict. I just think there's a lot of times gaps that need to be crossed. And we've had some experiences where that has happened that I wanted to share with you. So we're going to talk about starting with recording maintenance activities, habitat mapping and documentation, and then some communications tools that flow out of the software platform that allow you to communicate to stakeholders better. So what we traditionally do is what some of you that come from the operations side of your organizations are responsible for, which is your traditional mission as asset owners. So focus on programs that support safety, reliability, compliance, and efficiency. So if that's a tree trimming program on T&D vegetation or T&D electric utility, that's what we're focused on. But what we're interested in doing, and one of the reasons that we're trying to get plugged in with organizations like this, is how do we leverage the software that most of these organizations, most of your organizations own, and the data that you're building to support sustainability initiatives. So I want to talk about how to connect those dots. So the first thing you want to do is document your maintenance activities. I mean, the work that Lou from NIPA talked about is a great example of building GIS-based information about sustainability. So this is an example of a corridor herbicide application that was planned and executed in GIS-based software. And I can zoom in on that and see the herbicide mix with percentages, the gallons per acre, the quantity of gallons, and even down to a drum number. Okay, so this is operational data. From there, you can start to develop what I call complementary data sets. And this is going to start to go into a partnership example that I wanted to share with work that we're doing at the Georgia Department of Transportation and one of their herbicide applicators. So the herbicide applicator that's doing roadside spraying and invasive species management was asked to assist with the documentation of a sustainability project that Georgia DOT was running through a partner. So now you have in the same GIS database collecting information on, this case, a pollinator meadow that's right along the DOT right-of-way. So just to give these guys a little bit of a plug, because I think it's cool, and I'm from Georgia, we're not typically like #1 on the list of sustainability states, and I think this is really great that this is happening. So the RAY is a nonprofit that's partnering with the DOT to build a pretty substantial sustainability program on the DOT corridor. I won't get into all the things they're doing, but they're on the web and they do a good job of communicating, the ray.org. So what we ended up doing is helping them map in the same system where they're doing the operational work tracking, map things like where their wildflower plantings are happening, where they're doing landscaping, mulch application, solar panels. And they're doing things like building bioswales, and also planting perennial wheat to try to do things like stormwater filtration. So they're doing these cool things. It's not my area of expertise, but we're starting to see how the operations of the DOT vegetation management program are impacting this partnership they have with the RAY. So one example is, the mowers going over the areas where they're doing some of the planting. So this is an example that we heard before, and this was a real world example we saw last year. So we've got a partnership and we've got data that's being collected both on the operations side and on the sustainability initiative. So now, how do we tell that story? And this is a thing that we're really excited about. We're actually working with our technology partner, a company called Esri that probably a lot of you have heard of. You probably own their software to develop what they call a story map for the ray. Unfortunately, it's not done yet. It's going to be done in a few weeks. But I wanted to talk about this because I want to encourage you to look into this Esri story map concept and take a look at how you can leverage the data that you're building and this technology that's now available through our platform to do things like build public-facing multimedia websites. And you can take your GIS data, the operational data, the habitat data that you put into your GIS, and present that through a web interface, combine it with photos and video, and things like 3D map data to really give context for what's going on. And then you can take this and make copies of it and target these stories to different stakeholders. So the Ray is using this to show their directors and their grantees how they're using the money. And the Georgia DOT, we're trying to encourage them to use it to actually show the public, the taxpayers that fund their operations, the good work that's happening. So I'll point you to an example of a story map that's one of my favorites, so I encourage you to look at it. I'm not going to play it right now, but this is a story map that was built around a dam removal program in the Pacific Northwest. And when you go to it, there's this video of like salmon swimming underwater. And then as you scroll down, it just feeds additional information to you and starts to show you the context of the project. This thing like flies into 3D and you see the mountains and the river. And then you start to see your GIS data. So in this case, this is different fish species tied to color-coded layers of where these fish are returning and what the predictions are over 25 years of how many will be repopulated. It's beautiful photography, it's cool imagery, videos, and it's really impactful data and storytelling. So you should have my slides and you can type this into a browser and check it out. It's like 5 minutes and it really tells you, I think, how to take the work you're doing, as a lot of people have said today, take the data you already have and tell a really powerful story. So that's it. Thanks for your time.